Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I am going to be sharing with you guys how I use my budget planner to kind of map out my family's finances. My husband and I got married a little over 2 years ago and we've pretty much been budgeting ever since. And I have been sharing that with you guys here pretty much the entire time. I think I started sharing about 2 months into our journey. So anyway, you guys have been with us as we have paid off all of our credit card debt, as we have paid off my car, or our car loan. We had one car loan when we got married, or I had a car loan when we got married. We have paid off a few other debts here and there, cell phones, that kind of thing. And currently we are working to pay down my husband's student loan debt. In January, aka last month, because it is the end of February at the filming of this video, my husband had about $27,000 of student loan debt, and we made a large payment in January, and we are looking to continue that streak. I'll share like some of those things with you guys as we get into this. So I am using an Erin Condren Deluxe monthly planner. I got it from the Erin Condren website. Actually, it was sent to me, but that's where you could get one if you want one. Click on the link down in my description box for $10 off of your first order. Again, this is from the Erin Condren website. This is an Erin Condren Deluxe monthly planner in the 7x9. I always have to say that because people ask, otherwise I would forego all of that. So I've been using this since I think July, which is when it came out. It came out like for, I guess like the academic year, I guess is what was going on with it. Anyway, and I'm still using it. So I make my own stickers. I have been using stickers since I've started budgeting. I can't actually imagine like a life without it. So therefore, what you see here is a lot of stickers. I make my own. I sell them in my Etsy shop. So check out my Etsy shop, which is Shay's Budget Shop, if you're interested. So what I'm going to share with you guys today, I'm going to be a little bit more thorough. Whenever I have like more time on my hands and I'm a little bit more calm and relaxed, I can bring you guys lengthier videos, which I know you enjoy. So I do intend to be a little bit more, to slow it down a hair today and try to explain things thoroughly. So my husband and I actually use an Excel spreadsheet just to kind of look at our finances, like at a year's glance. We don't really reference it anymore throughout the year that much. Like we may look at it at some point, but we really don't use the Excel spreadsheet a whole bunch. Outside of the Excel spreadsheet, we do use the EveryDollar app, which does house our monthly budget. And we also use it to track all of our expenses. Outside of that, we don't really check in with EveryDollar too much. So as for me, what I would consider myself to be is the CFO around these parts. And that pretty much means that I manage the finances and I try to make sure that we're doing everything that we need to do. I would like to think that I do an excellent job of it given my current or my past history of spending money recklessly, living the YOLO lifestyle. So I kind of manage all of that and I manage it all here. And this is how I personally conceptualize our budget. This is how I conceptualize our monthly finances. This is how I conceptualize everything. This is how all bills are paid on time. I use this planner to ensure that I'm marking people's birthdays when I have business trip, personal trips, all of those things to make sure that we never have to worry about money, which is what we do. We don't worry about money. I also kind of use planning, not just budget planning. I have other planners too that I use to get, keep my life together. I also use, through planning, I'm able to, like I said, ensure that we're sending birthday gifts on time. We're saving up for trips. I'm making sure that we are paying down our debt, sticking to our goals, writing our goals, making a plan, and sticking to it. So that is why I use a budget planner. So anyway, what you're looking at is our month at a glance. This is the monthly spread. What I like to do is write down all paydays so I can make sure we're receiving money on time, we're receiving money, all of that stuff. I like to write down all bills that are due. And I also like to write in anything that, in this particular planner, the budget planner, I like to write down trips and expenses and such that are larger that we need to be mindful of, like dental procedures, car repairs, like ones that we know are coming up. Obviously, there are some things that happen for which we need to go into our savings account for. But for the most part, I like to write down those things that I really need to try to be mindful of as far as budgeting. So walking you guys through our monthly budget for March. We have my husband's gym bill or gym fees due on the 1st. We are out of town the 1st through the 3rd. I'm teaching 2 budget classes in Memphis, Tennessee on March the 2nd. My husband's coming with me, and we will be gone from the 1st through the 3rd. Nothing too major, but that is what the out of town is for. On the 4th, I will receive a paycheck from Etsy, so that varies. That's with my sticker shop. That varies, so I don't really know how much it's going to be, so I don't really count on that money. We don't like count on that money to survive or anything like that, but I will get a payday from Etsy on the 4th. The 5th is when our rent/water is due. I'm going to explain all of these bills and stuff momentarily when we flip the page, but our rent/water is $620, and this bill is on auto pay. All of our bills are on auto pay. 100% of our bills are actually on auto pay. I just like knowing when bills are due, when we can transfer money to savings, that all plays a part into when we can transfer to savings, when we can make a payment towards debt. All of this makes up our monthly budget and what we would like our money to do for us. Because I believe in not just like working for money, but also making money work for us. So that is what I really believe in. So on the 7th, I will get a payday from my full-time job, a small one, nothing too major. As you guys can see, well, you don't know this, but by looking at it, I can tell you right now, this payday from Etsy probably won't be a whole lot, just given the track record. I started my Etsy shop end of November or middle of November, not that long ago, but I know the track record, and I know that this probably isn't going to be a whole lot. This won't be a whole lot too, not enough to cover any bills. I mean, it could probably cover some bills, but it's certainly not going to cover this definitely probably wouldn't cover rent/water. It would be a miracle if it did. But what we like to do is we actually roll over money to the new month. So basically, what it comes down to, in a way that I can to explain it to you guys, is that our last payday of the month, we pretty much leave in our account and kind of count it as the first payday of the new month. So like on February the 28th, is when I will get paid for my full-time job. I will leave that money in the account. We will leave all of that money in the account, and then it will actually start paying these bills. The money will then start piling up, and we can do more with the money. But for the most part, that is pretty much how that works. Because like I said, you wouldn't know how much this was or how much this was unless I told you, which I can't tell you because I don't know at this present time. But it's definitely not enough, or likely won't be enough, to cover any major expenses like groceries and those kinds of things. This trip certainly won't cover that trip, but the payday, the last payday of February, which is on the 28th, will actually cover these things. And again, as these other paydays start to come in, that's when we can really, make our money work for us. So, payday here. I have a dance recital on the 9th. Nothing major. It's just, well, let me make this clear. I am in a mentor group. I mentor, and I'm like a part of that. I don't really like do one-on-one mentorship. I pretty much just kind of like help, like donate so kids can, for girls, teenage girls, so they can like sponsor. I kind of more so like sponsor and help out. I don't really do like intense mentorship, but one of the girls has a ballet dance recital on the 9th, and I would like to attend, and it does cost money. That's pretty much why I have marked it here. It's a fee that I have to pay to go see that. So anyway, that's going to be on the 9th. Payday from Etsy on the 11th. That's every Monday. This is going to be a bigger check from my full-time job, for which we can really do some stuff with that. By do some stuff, I mean transfer to savings, transfer to debt, that kind of thing. My husband will get a payday from his full-time job probably on the 13th, because his paydays are deposited into our Chime account and they actually come 2 days early. So he'll probably get paid on the 13th. But anyway, it's technically supposed to be the 15th. Our electricity bill is going to be due somewhere around there. I think it's every 30 days. Our electricity bill is actually the only bill that's pretty variable. I could do the budget billing thing, but I don't want to. So, the reason why I don't want to, I think, is because if they took the average and did whatever that math is, I'm pretty sure we would probably pay something like $125 a month, because here in Georgia in the summers it's like I mean, our electric bill is like in the hundreds, but in the winter it's like $50, $80. So I really just prefer to just, I don't know, I just want to pay the bill as it comes up. And if it's smaller, that's cool. If it's larger, that's cool. I just kind of like doing that. I don't know. It's just who I am as a person. But we won't know how much that bill will be until around the 2nd or the 3rd of March. And I will just write that in. My gym fees are due on the 17th, for which they'll probably come out on the 18th or the 16th, but that's technically when it's due. Another Etsy payday. Our minimum payments for our debts, which are our student loans, is due. Our minimum payments are due on the 21st. I have strategically done that. So when my husband's student loan payment is paid off, then we'll start paying on my, like, trying to pay off my student loan. I guess that's kind of what the plan is at some point in the future, but not like in the immediate future. But all of our debt payments have like all of like my car payment when I had one, and like all of those larger bills have always been due on the 21st. So I just called and had our bills to be due on the 21st, I think. Something like that. I don't know. I just know I recently called and had mine to be due on the 21st. I just like having, because this is pretty much the equivalent of our rent, I like having the larger bill. I like to spread out the monthly payments so it's not a whole bunch of bills that we're paying at the same time. At some point in life, I will move probably maybe to paying all of our bills like on the 1st of the month and just being done with it. But as of right now, I have not. So anyway, as of right now, I like to make sure our bills are kind of spread out evenly. So that's why I have, you know, the rent, water due up here, which I can't control that. And then these bills due back here, because it used to be a whole lot coming out the first few days of the month and it was kind of stressful. So anyway, my husband's minimum payment and my minimum payment for my student loans. And those are the only debts that we have. YouTube and an affiliate marketing payday on the 22nd. And I'm using these little paydays for like the smaller checks, I guess is what you can say. And then this isn't a bill, but my niece's birthday is the 26th. So I need to make sure, like, I'm putting it here to kind of jog my memory to put her gift, which is money, I'm sure, in the mail by the 22nd. So she'll get it around the time of her birthday. So I'm kind of making it a bill in my head. I am going out of town for a day trip on the 23rd. So I'm kind of just tracking that, or notating that so I can be mindful. I finally figured out the Amazon payday, and I think it's the 31st, and I'm just working my way from the left to the right. That's why I'm just calling out this, even though I'm technically on the 24th. But I think the Amazon payday is the 31st. I don't know. I don't make that much from Amazon. It's really not worth keeping up with. Etsy payday on the 25th. Our cell phone bills are due on the 25th. They're together. That's another reason why I made my student loan payment with my husband's, because I just like bills to be due on the same day. I need to figure out this gym situation, but I'll figure that out soon. Life insurance bills are due on the 27th for the both of us. My personal trainer bill would be due on the 28th. Also, a larger payday from my full-time job. And then my husband's on the 30th, even though he'll probably get paid with me. And then I am out of town. I'm actually out of town Friday through the 31st. So the 29th through the 31st. So that's pretty much what our overview of the month will look like. As far as March goals, I have put them over here. We would like to put an additional $3,000 of student loan, put an additional $3,000 towards student loan debt, because our goal is to put about $3,500 towards debt each month in order to have that $27,000 of student loan debt paid off around August. I would like to stay below my allowance budget, which is $100. I've been doing really well with that. Like, I'm talking like far below budget, which is kind of impressive for me because I like buying stuff. I would like to increase my income by $250. Last month, I increased it by $200. Well, in February, my goal was to increase it by $200. I did surpass that, so I figured I would shoot for a $250 and this is like an additional income. When I say increase income, I really mean find a new income source and make that a thing. And then we would also like to save, but we save every month, and you'll figure out what we save or why we save right now. So this is where I house our monthly budget. It's right past the sheet, and I am using stickers that I've created and all of that good stuff. And so I just want to kind of walk through the budget with you guys just to let you know what our budget is made up of, because that's pretty much the most important part of this whole entire budgeting process. So let me zoom in, and then we can get started. So for my income, which is basically all income sources, and I try to budget like the lowest amount, and then if I earn more, then I just earn more. So for the month of March, I am budgeting $7,400. Even. I always budget even numbers because anything beyond that would stress me out. And so that is what I am budgeting. For my husband, he is salaried. I am too at my full-time job. And we know what he's going to make, but we actually don't make his income a part of our budget. We save all of his income. And the reason why we do that is because we have to put aside money for taxes. We have to have money set aside for, really any type of emergency, car stuff, any type of medical stuff. We just continue to save every single month. We do take money from the savings. Like in February in this month, I bought my husband a new iPhone 10, like mine, that I just got in like November. And we both upgraded from like iPhone 6s because we have AT&T prepaid. We pretty much have to buy our phones outright. So that was $810 that I spent on getting him a new phone. So while that money did go into savings in February, that amount specifically came out whenever I went to go buy his phone for Valentine's Day or whatever. So all of that to say, money goes in and some of it stays, the vast majority of it, but some of it comes out for different things, such as that. Anyway, we don't use my husband's income to budget. We save it and we, put it towards this and that. And it kind of provides that, sense of security, if you will. So using my income, we budget for all household expenses and all expenses for the month pretty much. And so starting out, rent, water, again, we pay $620 for rent and water. We live in the state of Georgia in a low cost of living area. And what I mean by that, because I have to explain it all the time, is that our cost of living is low. We don't live in a high cost of living area. We don't live in Manhattan. We don't live in Southern California. We live in the state of Georgia. And I don't know what part of Georgia we live in, which is pathetic because I've been living here for a few years now. North, south. Maybe we live in East Georgia. Either way, not near Atlanta, and so therefore we are able to get by with paying for this 2-bedroom apartment and paying $620 for it, and we wouldn't have it any other way because I don't like paying rent. I really do not like paying rent. Like, I despise it, and I feel like it's oftentimes too much. Ours isn't too much. I'm not complaining about it, but there are other apartments and houses and stuff that I've rented that were a whole lot of money, and I felt that they were just overpriced. But anyway, moving on to cable/internet. We do have Comcast and Xfinity. We've had that for forever. This bill does creep up every year. Like, it seems to just creep on up a little bit, and that's super annoying. But I obviously need high-speed internet to do the job to do all of my jobs, even my full-time job. I work from home sometimes, and that can't go away. And the internet actually is the vast majority of this. The few channels we have, which I don't watch TV, but the few channels we have actually only makes up like $30 of this or something like that. So we just pay it because by the time we do Netflix and Hulu and all of that, we'll pretty much be at 30 or somewhere near it. So that's the cable/internet situation. For electricity, again, we don't know the amount that electricity is actually going to be right now, but I would guess it'll be about $100 for the month of March. For our cell phone bill, again, we have AT&T prepaid, so we pay $86.50. 40 something of it is for my unlimited plan. So I have unlimited everything. And the rest of it is for my husband to have. I think he has like 4 gigabytes or 6 gigabytes of data, and then unlimited everything else. And he doesn't really use his data like I do, because I literally run businesses from my phone and use my phone as a hotspot sometimes. So that's why I have unlimited data. For my allowance, we budget $100, and I get a lot of questions about why we budget $100, and I honestly don't know. What I do know is that when we first started budgeting, we tried to think of what was feasible, and I think we went with like 125, but then we started to kind of be able to stay under that 125, and we went to 100. And I guess the reason for it is there's really nothing that we can't buy that's like that $100 doesn't cover. So like if I want a new pair of shoes, which I probably wouldn't take that out of allowance anyway, but let's just say that I decide to, if I want a new pair of shoes, if I want a new cell phone case, if I want to buy stickers, if I want to buy a new pen, if I want to buy like anything that I would actually want, $100 would cover it. So if you are in the business of spending money each month on like, I don't know, coffee or whatever, then maybe $100 might not work. It's really just trying to come up with an allowance that works for your budget and works for you. And $100 works for us. And we're not in the business of stressing ourselves out regarding finances, or, you know, having the budget so tight that we just can't. So we just kind of came up with, like I said, 125 initially, and then we brought it down to 100. And if we go over, it's really not that big of a deal. We're not like stricklers. We just really try to stay on budget and stick to that 100. Because if we're trying to stick to not only our allowance budget, but any other line item, I feel like we have a better shot of actually doing it, as opposed to setting that at like 200 and trying to stick to 200. I just feel that I would spend more because it's the budget to do so. But when I start to draw closer to 100, that's when I feel like, oh, okay. That's when I really started thinking about my purchases and rethinking them, and only choosing to go over budget if it's something that I like absolutely feel like I need. So again, you have to figure out what allowance works for you, but $100 pretty much kind of psychs us out. $100 for my husband as well. For beauty. Now, we once didn't have a beauty line item because before I started doing the YouTube and all that kind of thing and like taking it seriously, I didn't really get like my hair done regularly or my nails and stuff like that. So there was really no need for a beauty category. We just had a haircut category for my husband, or a haircut line item. But since I've been trying to take my appearance more seriously, and I have ethnic hair, which means that when I do get my hair done, I feel like the hairstyles are like way more expensive and that kind of thing. And the hairstyles are, you know, pretty unique as far as, you know, I'm not going to go get my hair dyed because I don't get my hair dyed. I'm not going to go get my hair, you know, straightened because I don't get my hair straightened really. Or, you know, the hairstyles are pretty specific and pretty, kind of protective styles, if you know what that means. And they cost money. So therefore, in doing so, we kind of had to create a beauty category. It does include hair for me, like a hairstyle, haircut for my husband, nails, a pedicure if I so desire, eyebrows, just really anything beauty related, makeup, all of that stuff. I don't spend a whole lot each month, and some months are higher than others. For March, I'm going to try for $100. This is if I don't get my hair done, which I don't think that I am. If I do, that will easily be like double that amount. So we're shooting for 100 for March. For donations / gifts. So this is for really budgeting for, it's really like planned donating and planned gift giving. So like if I'm presented with an opportunity to give, and it's not in the budget or I haven't budgeted for it, I'm still going to do it. But if I know, I try to think about all the giving or donating that I know is going to happen. So in March, I have a niece who has a birthday. I already know how much I'm going to send to her or give to her or what her budget will be. I know that in March, with the mentoring and everything, sometimes I'm picking up like plates or drinks or forks or just random things here and there. Sometimes my husband's doing a little bit of giving here and there, car washes, donating to kids, doing car washes and that kind of thing. So we try to just budget $100 for it pretty much every month for majority of the month. Some months is higher than that, but for the month of March, we're going to shoot for 100 because we just have one birthday for one kid, and that should pretty much do the trick. For toiletries, we are going to budget $60. So this is for toilet paper, paper towels, toiletry items, not including makeup. We don't include that as a toiletry, but everything outside of that we need for the household, a candle, those kinds of things come out of the toiletries category. Miscellaneous, this is for things that we forget to budget for, or just things that we just, like subscriptions. We forget to cancel, like we'll get a subscription to try it out or whatever, and then we'll forget to cancel it, and then boom, we have a subscription fee or, you know, payment due for $5 or $10. This is really just for those smaller mishaps during the month. Larger mishaps like a flat tire and that kind of thing, though we obviously have to pull from savings, or, you know, decide if it's a large expense, we decide to, you know, forego a debt payment or something like that. But for those smaller mishaps, we do have a line item for those, so we can catch those inside of there. So for travel, I'm budgeting $300 because I just have to go, you know, the day trip isn't going to be, I'm not going to spend a whole lot there. And then for the, I'm going out of town with the mentor group. That's really just, I've already paid for my lunch for Saturday because we're going to a conference, and some of those expenses should be really cut. So for which case, I don't see me spending more than maybe $300. And for the first trip of the month, the Memphis trip, the workshops that I'm doing and the proceeds would cover the expenses that weekend. So therefore, I don't think I should really spend more than $300 for travel for March. My personal trainer, I budget $240 every month, but honestly, I don't even really do $240. I just do it like this worst case scenario. And I try to do worst case scenario for income and also worst case scenario for expenses, because I feel like when you're under budgeting for income and kind of over budgeting for expenses, you kind of like can't go wrong there. But when you're over budgeting for income and, you know, under budgeting for expenses and bills and stuff, you might go wrong because you might go wrong. But anyway, moving on to gym. For the both of us, that would be $39.98. That's for our membership fees. For gas, we do about $140 a month. I don't know that I mention this every time, but I do drive a hybrid. So when I'm putting $15 in my gas tank to fill it up and $18 and stuff, that's the reason behind that. For car insurance, our car insurance actually isn't due again until June because we paid it in full in December, and we paid every 6 months. So I'm going to mark that out, but it is a part of our budget. Our life insurance bills together are $42.19. Renter insurance is paid up until May, and we'll pay that again, or April. It might be April. I need to double check. It's April or May. So we'll pay that again when it comes due, but it's not due in March. And the reason why I don't pay life insurance in full, even though I should, is for a really bad reason. I don't do it because I'm like, well, what's the point of paying this up in full? And then, like, what if something happens and I've already given them the money, even though they would be essentially getting, you know, we would get it back if something happened to the other one. But literally, that's pretty much the reason why I don't pay our life insurance in full. So for food, we're going to budget $600. This is for restaurants, dates, and groceries. I'll be honest, we sometimes go over. I mean, pretty much, I can't imagine there's actually been a month that I've been sharing this, since I've been sharing that we actually were under budget, maybe 1 month or something, but we pretty much always go over budget. But again, whenever we see that number, we really try to stick to it, as opposed to, you know, making it like $900. I mean, we're probably going to spend the $900, but if we set it kind of lower, that kind of helps us to try to stick to the budget. I mean, honestly, in all actuality, we shouldn't even be spending $600 on food, restaurants, and dates between the two of us anyway. So $600 is a whole lot to feed 2 people and for dates and stuff like that anyway. But I'll put /dates here too. But that's the meaning behind that. For my student loan, my minimum payment is $356.75 currently. Probably will go up soon. I don't know. My husband's minimum payment is $304.69. In order to reach our goal of putting $3,500 towards debt, we will need, $3,500 towards his student loans. We will need to put $3,195.31 extra towards debt in the month of March, and that will leave our rollover at $683.10. Now, $683.10 can't realistically be a rollover because $683.10 is not even, I mean, it'll barely pay rent. So realistically, that's not a rollover that we can actually fully accept. The reason why I am okay with writing it as $683.10 is because we will likely bring in more income than we budgeted, and we'll likely be under in some categories. If we are, and if the trend continues the same, we'll roll over more money than $683.10. If we so happen to not make more money and not have spent lower in some of these different categories, we would just need to pull from savings in order to cover the first week of April's bills, the first week and a half or so of April's bills, because $683.10 just wouldn't do the trick. So that's pretty much our rollover defined. So this is our budget, you guys. Let me zoom out a little bit. This is how we have chosen to set up our budget for the month of March. I am feeling pretty good. I'm feeling excellent about February. Stay tuned, to my channel, because in February, at some point at the end of this month or maybe the beginning of March, we will be scheduling another live so we can come on here and make another large debt payment. I think we don't have to do it, but I think we'll do it anyway. So stay tuned for that. Again, February is going pretty well. And I'm feeling really optimistic about March, and I'm really excited to just get this debt paid off once and for all. So this is our budget for the month of March. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye, guys.